One.
They are thirsty for the articles. That's all I have to say about them. They want to hear news about Donald Trump.
We should look at the Macedonia case from that perspective, and we can compare the innocent Macedonian teenagers with the drone operators that are working inside the army, that are based somewhere in Texas or New Mexico, and that steer their lethal drones somewhere in Syria, Iraq, or somewhere in the Middle East, right?
Two.
In the time of Yugoslavia, right after the Second World War, they made the city as one of the main industrial centers of the country. I think close to 70% of the people were working in the ceramic factories. So the industrial life was booming in the Veles, and Veles was one of the best economic cities. Then, in the 90s, we experienced a down in our economy. Many workers were dismissed and stayed at home. And many of our parents were out of job. We were just battling for money. Living in the 90s was not so easy, and somehow all of us promised ourselves we will make more money just to not come back to the same situation. But a new industry was built since then.
What is the difference between the Instagram influencer that talks about fashion products or clothes, fashion, and so on, right? And these young people that operated a few years ago. What they both do is they build up an imaginary and inflammatory kind of fan base.
Chapter 3.
I started with sites that specialize in health tips, muscle cars, and celebrity gossips. With my brother, I briefly tried running a car site, but soon discovered that politics, especially the conservative brand, performed better. I followed the Macedonian politics, the US politics, Russian politics. My idea was, okay, you can start with something different, not healthy food, not sports, not cars. You can start with politics. I consider myself a right-leaning libertarian. We found that the names of the groups where we could stay longer, where our profiles were not removed, were related to conservatives, to Republicans, to Trump. If you found 100 groups for conservatives, you could only find 10 for liberals.
I once republished an article from a satirical website, The Onion, and presented it as real news. My first site, called USA Politics Today, was growing quickly. The word began to spread in Veles that we had come up with a topic that could make money. So soon, people in Veles began launching their own politics sites.
We can say, there should be like leftist memes, but they are not And I think this is related to the kind of cynical or reflective way the memes are kind of playing fun with other people, sometimes even with the meme makers themselves.
I never advised anyone to produce fake content as a method to gain more traction for a story. But my advice was, always experiment and maybe come up with 10 versions of the title for the article and then choose one. The title is so important, it's everything. We are faking numbers to have fake accounts so we can reach more and more people. Our primary goal is to prepare sites like before, to be ready for the next elections in America. I can tell you how much money I've earned in one day. Maybe it was around $2,500.
I don't know, and I don't care if it's true or not, because the people are reading. Even if they open, I'm getting paid. It's not my fault that those Americans click. If Americans like wine, we give wine. If Americans like water, we give water. What Americans want to read, I will write.
The thing now with the social media and the internet is that these things have now been automated. And that is what makes the real difference. It's not so much the people that have changed, but it's the selection of these news facts in the news feed. These are all algorithms that have been programmed to pick up on negative sentiments that then people will click on. And this is the real background of the short success of the Macedonian story.